Hey, comadres, welcome back to your Andale Pues podcast. I am your host, Rose.
And I am your co-host, Jezebel.
And this is our 5th episode. And today we're going to talk about brujeria.
Well, not that type of brujeria. I mean, don't imagine the freaking crazy laughing flying on a broom outside.
No, and not that we do brujeria either,
No.
because no.
Yeah. But raise your hand if you've been personally victimized by brujeria. Either on you, you've seen, allegedly.
I've been told that I was allegedly put a trabajo on me. So
Even hearing that shit makes me cringe.
it's scary, dude.
Yeah.
Because like, who has that type of malicia? You know?
No, I can't.
I could never.
So I grew up, unfortunately, being exposed to that. My mom was a big fan of it. Not like brujeria and doing it on people, but more so curanderas. And so I feel like I went to so many as a kid, and just because she believed in it so much. And I feel like with some of the personal issues that she was having, I feel like she was just looking for some validation or for some answers or for some, I can't even explain it. Or, I mean, maybe I'll ask her one day, like, what were you looking for?
Like, what did you want? What did you really want?
Yeah, like, what were you expecting them to tell you? Because,
and did she really believe like what they were saying?
I think she really. I think there's a caveat to that, because I think she really believed what they were saying and what they were telling her, because in a sense they were validating what she wanted to hear or what she went there looking for. But at the same time, I don't believe that she believed in. I don't think that she believed in it enough, because she never shelled out the thousands of dollars they were asking her to hacer un trabajo para arreglarlo, o para deshacer el enlace, or deshacer stuff.
Like, that's, to me, that's funny, because like who really wants somebody to be obsessed with them? Like, if your man's obsessed with you in a positive way, like, by all means, you know, but let it deja que nazca solo, not
give
like
him something
fucking,
to be obsessed about.
Yeah, pero que nazca de él mismo, not go take it upon yourself to do like a amarre or whatever.
Have you ever seen those TikToks where people find like an underwear with a liston with like things are like buried, or they'll find it like buried underneath their bed under a bunch of junk or something?
Yeah, or in old homes or shit like
dude,
that.
I
just
cannot.
Like, I don't understand how people can.
No,
or,
absolutely not.
I don't know. That, to me, like, that's inviting fucking evil into your life and stuff.
Yes. So we went to a lot as a kid, and basically they would all say the exact same thing. And I'm not going to go into detail of everything, but what I will say is that it was always the same fucking story. And it was always the same, give me $2,000 and I'll fix it all for you. Give me $2,500 and I'll fix it all for you. Give me, whatever. And then you'll see things start to change. And I remember when she was told like thousands, and this was in freaking Chihuahua. Like, it wasn't like it was here in America where they're asking you for $2,000.
Yeah.
And so I remember that she would always just be like, pues, pa cabrón, ¿cuánto dinero quieren para, según ellas, deshacer esto? So she never paid that much money, but I am very certain that she paid a good amount of money. I would say unos $400 or $500 por aquí, por ahí, to fix things, right? But nothing ever got fixed. Like, I literally just told you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Even now, like, the way that my parents' relationship is, it's just, they banter, they bicker, they freaking want to tear each other's heads off. But then, like, ahí están todavía, right? So, like,
it's a love-hate relationship.
It's literally a love-hate relationship. Keep in mind, like, here I am, like 7, 8, or 9 years old. I mean, I was not much older than my son. And we're going into all these places, like, with these ladies, and they were just all saying the same thing. And then they were literally trying to extort money from my mom, in a sense, que según ellas para arreglarle todos sus problemas. And
si así fuera de fácil.
If it sounds too good to be true, it
Usually
probably is.
Yeah.
So I think what happened with that is that completely stopped believing in it, believing in it as an adult. I was like, brujas are just, and here's the thing with them, is that they all will tell you that they work with angels and that they have a direct line to God and that they don't do anything bad and that everything is in the light of God.
Yeah. Okay.
Me now as an adult, I don't fully believe that.
Right.
Like you can't, según tú, undo all of the bad that was done by somebody else without dabbling or knowing about it yourself.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
Right.
So I stopped believing in it. And just as an adult, like, you won't find me spending my money at
no.
somebody like that. So I think curanderas are a little bit different because I think curanderas are more like herbal, like tienes un malestar, tienes, but then I feel like it's also a very, very thin line.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a very thick line.
Right.
Between those two. And so I think for me, the biggest issue with brujas is not the brujas themselves, but the people that go to them to say, I want to do this to this person. I want this person to suffer this way.
Yeah.
I want you to work your black magic to irk her, or que le vaya mal, o que pierda su trabajo, que no le dure el dinero. Me quitó al esposo o al hombre, novio, whatever, y quiero que sufra. I could never.
Me either. There's no way.
In my mind, I can't wrap my brain around me wanting malicia towards somebody.
Nope.
I've been through a lot in my life.
Same.
And I'm not saying I've had the worst things happen to me or anything. But there's nobody that has wronged me that bad. Even if somebody came and told me like, hey, me and your husband have been in a relationship for 5 years and we have 2 kids together.
I like, well, damn.
First of all,
both of them up.
All 3 of them.
Number one.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't touch the kids. But I would just be like, well, damn, right? Like, pues vaya con Dios, like que les vaya bien, right? But I cannot physically, in my brain, wrap around the fact of like, you know what? Fuck her. I want everything bad to go to her. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to actively do something, play with devils and demons and shit for her to, something bad to happen to her. I can't even talk right about it because it's just like, it riles me up. Who? And me.
I just feel like that's people that are not fucking okay in the head.
Seriously.
Because.
Who? Right?
Yeah.
And so for me, I have a couple of good experiences with curanderas. And this one in particular, I don't remember if it was a bruja or a curandera. Like I said, the difference is very slim. But I was in 4th or 5th grade, and this was prior to me meeting my friend that I spent like half my life with. And I remember like I just wasn't feeling myself. My mom had noticed that some things were changing, like in my attitude. I just was not feeling that amazing. I was always a very lively kid. So she started to notice when my attitude changed and when my demeanor changed. And she took me to somebody and was like, hey, she's just not herself. She's looking a little bit depressed. Like it kind of just seems like she's not herself. And so she did a limpia on me. And I can't remember if it was with just lemons or she also used like a little herb thing with me. Something.
That's what.
And dude, I swear, like within a week, my whole life had turned around.
Really?
Like I had all these friends and just, I was myself again. And I think maybe somebody me hizo algo. Maybe I got like the effects of it that were supposed to go somewhere else that got to me, But I truly believe that that was my first experience with somebody.
Yeah.
With malicia with somebody.
I mean, I have malicious people in my life that constantly watch my every move and constantly gossip or post about it, or just talk so negatively about it, about me, about anything I do. And it's like, you're fucking weird. Like, who has time?
Do you not have like a life?
I think people
Like-
that sit there and continuously like post and about negative shit, about
Dude, I can't.
about
no.
like blasting people or anything anybody does and talk about it negatively on there, is you don't have a life. You're unhappy in your life that you have to spew all that hate out, and then it's just making it worse on that person, you know? And it's like, who has time for that? Like, it's so
Porque te está
cringy.
revolviendo también a ti.
Yeah,
like,
it's like-
if you speak it, you look
Yeah.
at it, you are
Mhm.
living it. Like,
And it's
claro
just-
que te va a venir a ti.
Yeah, and it's just like, grow up. Like, yeah, basta, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But then I also had an experience too. I don't know if you would necessarily call it curandera. When I was married to my three older boys' dad, before I had my first son, Alan, I had miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage, and we're just like, what's going on? What's going on? And he wanted a baby so bad, and I just, kept having miscarriages. My mom took me to the señora sobadora. So I remember we went to, I think, like to New Mexico, or I don't know. It was pretty damn far. Or maybe it was in the West Side and I just thought it was fucking far. But
It took a while to get over there.
yeah, she took me to this lady, sobadora, and like porque tenía la matriz caída, that's what they called it, and she massaged me, and it was a little bit painful, but like she massaged my stomach and with these oils, prayed over me and did all this stuff, and then I like a few months later, like I got pregnant and I have my first son, but I mean, there's differences with curanderas, or there's people sobadores, there's people that heal you, or that come up with these herbs to heal a certain disease or whatever. And some of these people are believable because I've seen what it can do and what it can't do, but
and that's why I can't fully say, like, I don't believe in it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, I don't believe in curanderas or sobadoras, or I don't believe that any of that is real. I can't say that because I've seen it.
Right.
But in a positive light.
Right.
More like with limpias and para buenas energías, and que si alguien te está haciendo mal, para que no te toque.
Yeah. I was in a rollover accident. In June, it'll be 7 years that I was in my accident. Well, I had gone to Cuba with an ex of mine, and it was my first time going to Cuba. It was so much fun. I got to know their culture and stuff. But coming back, we had partied all night the night before, and I remember getting on the flight, hungover as fuck.
Oh, dude, that's the
Tired.
worst.
I was like so sleepy, and then on top of that, I was sick as a dog, like so sick because I had gotten a cold it was so humid and so hot there, and then it rained and we got rained on, and getting in and out of the hot weather, like humid weather, into a cold AC car, out in and out, like killed me. So I was running a fever. I was sick. It was just a disaster.
Ay, lo cruda.
Dude, and then cruda, like, oh my gosh. So we finally land in Dallas, and I had left my car there at a friend's house. And I remember getting, my friend went to go pick us up at the airport, and I remember getting to her house, and she's like, hey, y'all stay the night. Like, I'm sure you guys are tired. Like, just stay the night. And I was like, no, they want to go, it was my ex and
Y'all are
his
brave.
it was my ex, myself, and his friend that we traveled together. So we picked up my car and we decided to leave to drive back to Odessa. Well, in Abilene, no, in Sweetwater is where I had my rollover accident. I will post my pictures of my car accident right here because that car looked like nobody should have made it out of there. We hit the guardrail, we hydroplaned, we rolled about 87 meters to be exact. That's what's on the police report.
Crap, that's a long way.
And I remember being conscious through every single moment of that rollover accident. And I remember him hovering over me, and I believe I hit him with my head on the face because he had a cut on his lip and 2 stitches. The guy in the back was wearing all white, and he was laying across the seat. While we were rolling, he looked like from the corner of my eye, I would see him, and this is funny, but not funny, but he looked like fucking popcorn just bouncing all over in the back seat. I swear to God. It was fucking weird, but at the same, it's funny, but not funny.
It's not.
And when the car, sorry, I swear that's the first thing that came to my mind because he was like wearing all white and just bouncing, like rolling, like it was crazy.
That's really terrifying, though, that you were
scary.
conscious through it.
And when we finally came to a halt, thankfully we landed right side up. And I was covered in mud because it had been raining, and the ditch that we fell in, it was just muddy. And I remember I felt like I was lit on fire in the inside. As soon as he took my seatbelt off, I was like, oh my gosh, it hurts. Because he asked me, can you move your legs? Can you move your arms? Everything was mobile. But I couldn't breathe. Then he unclipped my seatbelt, and it was like even more like in flames. Like I was like, what the fuck? I instantly started shaking really bad, and I remember my chin was just like like if I'm like really cold, where my body started going into shock. He had the tiniest cut on his lip, and I remember the paramedics like took him and the other guy to stitch them up. The guy in the back literally just got 7 stitches on his cheekbone from his sunglasses. Like why are we laughing?
Because I was gonna say from bouncing around like popcorn.
It's not funny, but it is.
It's not like, and I'm glad everything is okay.
I can't stand you. Oh my God.
I feel like I can just see him because I know him.
Yeah.
In a white shirt.
You know how they all fucking dress the same, like fucking uniforms?
Okay. Sorry. Okay. So they stitched his cheek with 7 stitches? That's pretty big.
He had a cut right here, 7 stitches. And my ex, 2 stitches. That was it. Me, however, I couldn't even move. I couldn't move an inch. Like my body started going into shock. I remember everything so vaguely, like it was just yesterday. I remember that I kept like trying to go in and out, like I was trying to pass out, but my ex kept
waking me up.
And then this lady that ran down, she wasn't a paramedic or anything. She just ran down and was like trying to help. She said she was like a nurse or something. She kept telling me, baby, stay awake, stay with me. And I was just like, trying my hardest. And then finally paramedics got there. They had to use the jaws of life to get me out because my door just wouldn't open. And they didn't want to bend me weird
especially if you felt
because they didn't know exactly what had happened to me. So they did all that. Anyways, I had massive internal bleeding. I had to get immediate blood transfusions. I had to get emergency surgery because I had a ruptured spleen, ruptured intestines, and they didn't know if I was gonna make it. So I'm freaking out through this all because I'm like, oh my gosh, I have my kids to get home to. Like, am I going to make it? Like, it was just so much going through my head.
Can imagine, dude. That's crazy.
I'm here. I'm alive. I'm well. Thank the Lord. But years pass. We go back to Cuba. This lady comes up to me out of no fucking...
Just randomly?
Mm-hmm. And she said, I need to put a protection on you. And I'm shaking as I'm saying this, dude, because it was so crazy. She said, you drive a large white car. And at the time, I drove a minivan and it was white. She was like, somebody wants you to get in an accident in that vehicle. You need protection.
Cancelado.
Yeah. And she's like, you were in an accident before, huh? And I was like, yeah. And there's no way this lady could have known any of this because I didn't fucking know her.
And just randomly
just
in the middle of...
randomly. And she's like, you have such a good heart. Like, you're so blessed and I'm gonna help you. You need help, blah, blah, blah. And it was so weird because she told me this person, she described this person's features, hair color, skin tone. She even said she had freckles. And I was like, oh my gosh. I right away knew. She goes, she paid somebody in this town over from where you're at to do this. She paid somebody so they can go to this town and put this work on you. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I instantly got chills throughout my body and I was like, holy shit, like I gotta go to this lady to get protection. So that's what I did because I didn't know any better. You know, I was like...
And did she charge you a nut?
No. Mm-mm.
That's my thing.
Nope.
If you're really out there trying to do good and like fix people and help people, like you're not gonna freaking charge.
You know what she told me?
Up the ass. What?
Just give me a gift, whatever you want to give me. So I did. I gave her. I remember I had some Bath and Beyond. No, Bath and Body Works. Yeah, that. I had some lotions and some body sprays and stuff, and I gifted her some because over there they don't have shit. And she was the happiest lady ever. But she was like, just give me a gift, whatever you want to give me. She was like, because I want to protect you.
That's wild.
And she did her thing, and I was just like, okay, you know, I'm protected. Like, I don't fucking know. Like, I just believe her.
Says, like, I believe you.
I'm like, bueno, pues, you know?
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to go do this por si acaso, you know? Uno nunca sabe. So
por
I did.
Si sí o por si no.
Yeah. So I did, and, you know, because, I mean, there is no way this woman could have possibly known that wild. I drove a large white vehicle and that somebody wanted me out of the...
Let's take a step back, though. Who in their right mind literally wishes death on somebody?
That's crazy.
Goes out of their way, pays their hard-earned money to go and put the hex on somebody.
I don't know.
For them to die.
It's insane.
That is... It doesn't fit in my brain.
Did you know that Brujeria comes from Cuba? Like, that's where it's originated from?
Well, I remember I've seen them.
It's crazy.
I didn't know, like, Cuba, but a Cuban-looking people with, like, the rat. And Africa, too, I think they have.
But it's originally from Cuba. Like, that's where
everything originated. To think that you have that hatred for somebody, or that maybe not that you have that hatred for somebody, but that you think life is that volatile, or not volatile, that life is that meaningless. There you go. That's a perfect word.
Because it's
you have kids.
Yeah.
You have people that you are responsible for. It's not just like, oh, me cae mal esta.
I know, dude. It was insane.
I can't.
It was insane. And you know what? She told me, and this is one thing that has always stuck to me. Like, she's like, when you go to somebody's home and you have a weird vibe about them, don't drink what they give
Yeah.
you. Don't eat what they give you, and don't take anything home of what they gift you.
I'm gonna pay attention next time that you come to my house. See if you drink.
Estúpida.
See if you drink or eat my snacks.
No, bitch. I trust you, but you know,
with that
crazy.
though, like, remember how we were talking on the last episode about like not inviting things like that into your home?
Mm-hmm.
I think that works both ways
Yeah.
too, because you know, you going into somebody's home without any bad intention, bad ill will, nothing like that, but you immediately are like, oof, this right here is just not it.
It's insane.
And see, that's one thing that I've always been extremely, extremely sensitive to, and I didn't tune into it until I was late 20s. After this whole thing with the ex-friend happened,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't tune into that. And I wish that I would have tuned into it a lot earlier, because I feel like I would have saved myself a whole lot of stupid mistakes and stupid things. But like, dude, that gut feeling that you get in your stomach that something is not right, that the vibes are off, that it's just not right now. Listen to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, listen to that. Me, when I meet a person, immediately my spidey senses start to go off if they're just not my...
Mm-hmm.
Could be that they're not anything bad. Could be that they're just not my vibe or not my person, but I don't take any additional steps to try to get to know them, to try to hang out with them. And I think, thinking back when we were talking about friends last time, remember the one I told you, my adult friend in the gym? Mm-hmm. Dude, I stuck to myself. Yo no quería, but she kind of just like drew me in. Mm-hmm. Thinking back, like, that was me, that was my body, that was my mind telling me, like, stay away. A lo que veniste nomás. And I didn't listen. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm telling you, even when I wake up, and I hate this, because probably about 80% of the time I'm right. If I wake up,
Same.
I have this just heaviness, this feeling, this something's off. Mm-hmm. Always something is off. And the latest one that I had wasn't that long ago, Elena's accident. Mm-hmm. That day, it was a normal day, but something was off, and something was off, and something was off. And it ended up, being that. Mm-hmm. And then the time before that, my mom had gotten into a car accident that could have been immensely bad. I mean, she could have killed 9 people. Oh my gosh. In a van, had she not... apparently she fell asleep, or she passed out, and she woke up right at the time where the collision could have gone head on, and she swerved. So she only sideswiped the van and threw them off course. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah. And that was another time that I knew something was off, and I always tell my husband, and even if I wake up and it's not as strong, but there's just something off, I always tell Emmanuel, like, hey, be very careful driving today. Like, pay extra precaution to your driving. Right. Pay extra precautions to your surroundings. Mm-hmm, like, if you're out there working, just... Oh, his accident too. He had an accident where he broke his chin. Oh shit. Yes. We had barely started dating, and I was super young, so I wasn't gonna know. Yeah. But I remember thinking that day was just weird, gloomy, like I couldn't put my finger on it. But yeah, it's your gut feeling. She's a bruja, y'all. Maybe I'm the bruja, and I'm over here talking shit. But it's about paying attention to that. And if there's a person that's triggering that in you, like, just stay away. And it's okay. Not everybody is going to be your vibe, and that's fine. Mm-hmm. But it's just one of those where it immediately is like... Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, de lejitos. Mm-hmm. So what ended up happening with that lady that allegedly put this evil on you? She's still there in Cuba, maybe. I don't know. I don't have any... Se la llevó la chingada. I have no idea. And somebody like that, I do wish that. Like, yeah. I hope not bad things happen to you, but I hope you're down on your luck. Yeah, or that whatever you wish upon somebody else comes back to you, because
you just don't do that.
Mhm.
Like, wish people well. Yeah, vámonos a la chingada. Move the fuck on.
Move the fuck on. Thank you. Yes.
Yes, yeah. Si te caigo mal, pues no me mires a la verga.
Volteate al otro lado.
No me busques, no me mires, bloqueame. Like, move on with your life. Be happy. Do you. Don't worry about nobody else, because I'm not worried about nobody else.
Seriously.
I just, I have so many goals. Can nobody bring my goals down, or can nobody come between those goals? And I am so excited for them.
I can't put any additional energy into anything that's not serving me.
Exactly.
Ooh, that was a mouthful there. Damn. Hasta yo me sorprendí.
You're like, cabrón.
Ay, güey. Where did that Sorry, that was a good one. Going back to like the whole, like cleanses and stuff, I do believe in that. I do believe that people give you ojo. Like, obviously, I have my ojo bracelet. I've tried to put it on my kids, but those little kids don't leave nothing on.
Right.
But, I believe in stuff like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I also believe that when you're having issues like what I was having, or like issues like you were having, like she did a limpia on you is basically what ended up happening. I think at first, like, if you have me tie like a ribbon, like what we were talking about, amarre, a ribbon with like the picture of somebody with like something that they used, or like something, like go out of my way to do this with objects of another person, or I'm not into it. Like, absolutely not. The answer is no. Like, vámonos.
Yeah.
A chingar su madre. However, one thing that I was always believing of, which this is one thing that they would always send my mom with, ya que no le daban los pinches miles de dólares. Le mandaban con baños. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So we would.
I had to do a couple of those.
Yeah. And so we would boil like, gosh, I can't even remember what it was, but it was like herbs. It wasn't anything like fucking pata de gallo ni rat's tail, nothing like that. It was like herbs and like fruits and things like that. And they all served a different purpose, like whenever you would mesh it together. So you would boil all of this together, and then you would strain it, and then just take it into a gallon jug. And when you were in the shower, once you were done, you would pour this all over you.
As silly as that sounds.
Yes, I know.
I am guilty.
Yeah.
Guilty as charged.
And I feel like, I don't know that I would believe it today if somebody told me to do that, but I sure did. Even back when I was living in my trailer house. And so there's like rituals and stuff like that. And that I feel like I'm okay with. Because I do think, like with the safety pin with the solar eclipse, I put it on just because por si sí o por si no.
Uno nunca
sabe. And if that's going to prevent bad energy from going into my fetus, if that's going to prevent, a premature labor, allegedly, then ¿qué me cuesta? Right? Now, if you had me go do a whole thing and then fucking dig it into the ground and freaking say all kinds of prayers over it, or light a candle, I am absolutely not into it.
Yeah.
But safety pin, no pasa nada.
I know. My mom used to always, if there's going to be a fucking eclipse, my mom's like, y ponte el segurito con la llave. Y no se te olvide el segurito. ¿Y dónde te lo pusiste?
My mom told me like 85
cerquitas
times.
de la panza.
Y no salgas para afuera. No, mija. No. I even had the text message where I texted in the group chat. Everybody's talking about how cool the eclipse was. And I was like, sí, yo aquí encerrada. And my mom was like, qué bueno, mija. Gracias a Dios. Vale más prevenir que lamentar. That's what she said. I love her so much.
I know. My mom was the same way.
Yes.
Same way.
And so.
Ni se te ocurra mirar por la ventana. I was like, bueno,
no,
pues.
Mijita, no sabemos.
Yeah.
So, I did some of that stuff, and it was fine, right? But like going further than that, I cannot. So, the friend that stole my perfume scent, my signature scent, that I'm still clearly not over,
and I just laugh about it because I think she's overreacting.
She thinks I'm overreacting,
but I mean, it is what it is. If that's how she feels, I support her.
Yes, exactly. Because even when
Fuck
you're
that
wrong,
bitch.
I'm going to support you.
Oh, fuck that bitch.
How could
Why
you
you
do
fuck
that?
you take my friend's perfume? That's fucked up.
So this was back in 2017, and I was having a lot of issues where, again, I wasn't feeling like myself. I wasn't fully like living. Me and Emmanuel were having a whole lot of problems. Not like our relationship was ending, but a whole lot of problems. And like, I was adamant that we had to get married. I was like, I want to be married, and he didn't want to.
Mm-hmm.
And so at the time, she had her, husband that she was still with, and he was having some sort of issue with his feet. And she, her suegra and her, I guess, found this lady, or somebody told them about this lady, and this lady was coming over here. And so I was like, keep me as far away from that as possible, because I want nothing to do with it. At this point, I had already just been so jaded and so just over it. Like, I didn't believe in any of it. And so I didn't want to go near it. And so she told me about how she fixed his feet, because he was having some sort of issues with his feet. She was like, hasta están más blancos, like all these issues that apparently had been fixed. And she told me that she really liked her, le caía bien. It wasn't like anything crazy. And so I was like, you know what? Let's go get a limpia. And I was so hesitant about it. I did not want to do it. I was like, this is not what I want to be doing. But I did it. And so when I did it, me cayó bien la señora, but it was one of those things where, like, I'm sitting there with an attitude. Like,
yeah.
I don't know if my arms were crossed or not, but I was just like sitting there just waiting my turn. And when it got to my turn, I think she had done like 2 other people. And when it got to my turn, she started going through my whole body, started at my head, whatever, with lemons. Mm-hmm. She had lemons in her hands. And she went through the whole thing. And then she was like, huh. And she kind of made this face that she hadn't done with anybody. Mm-hmm. And so she like put the lemons down, and then she comes back over here to me, and she's like, she's grabbing my hands, and she's like going through this. And then she goes through my neck and my head, my hair. And me personally, I'm sitting there like, bro, this is so weird. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's right. And she was just like, mija, ¿tú no crees? And then I was like, ¿En qué? Like, what are you referring to, right?
She's like, bitch, what the fuck am I doing? Like,
and she was just like, en esto, o sea, en lo que estamos haciendo, que te estamos limpiando las energías, quitando envidias y todo esto. I was like, no es que no crea en todo eso, es que no creo en los, o sea, que me pueda arreglar todos mis problemas así nomás. Sí, she was like, es que esto no es para esto. Dijo, aquí te estamos limpiando la energía, te estamos rejuveneciendo tu aura, your aura.
Your aura. Mm-hmm.
She didn't say aura, she said something, a different name, but y te estamos limpiando de energías malas y malas vibras y envidias y todo. So I was just like, okay, like, cool. That kind of brought my guard down a little bit. And she's like going right, and she had already put the lemons down, and she comes right here to my hands, and she holds my hands out like this. And as she's like not holding, but she's doing whatever she's doing, she's like that, like with her mouth. And I'm like, okay, like I noticed it, but I wasn't like freaked out by it. But, and she just, mija, tú traes unas envidias que te están pesando el alma. Andas salada. Is how she said it. And I was like, okay. So see, and I'm starting to get kind of like jittery talking about it, because it's taking me back to that place. But she was like, no hombre, mija, no hombre. And then she like kept going to like whatever. She was just like, pero mira, tú no crees porque tú tienes un corazón tan grande que tú no crees que alguien es capaz de hacer una malicia a otra persona. Mm-hmm. This bitch read me like a book. I was like, wow, okay, right? Like, dígame más. Mande. Mm-hmm. Okay, now I'm all perked up, like trying to listen to what she's saying. But she finished, her thing or whatever. And then she was just like, mira, te voy a dar un amuleto. And she gave me that amulet. She was like, este está bendecido. She said, tú no tienes que hacer nada, nomás que siempre, siempre, siempre tenlo contigo. Aunque lo traigas en la bolsa del pantalón, en tu bolsa, en tu, like the little pocket right here, adentro de tu brasier. She said,
somewhere
adentro de un zapato. And it's too big to put like in your shoe, but I get the concept that she was trying to say. When I tell you that this year turned everything around for me. Wow. And some of it was a little coincidental. I was set to graduate in August with my bachelor's degree. Graduated with flying colors on the dean list. We baptized Mijo, which had been a fight because it was just like, we weren't really sure if we were going to go that route or not. But everybody kept telling us, you need to baptize him. We need to baptize him. We felt like we needed to, but we had just put it off. And then one day, like, my husband just woke up and then he was like, dude, we need to baptize Mijo. Mm-hmm. He was like, see about the classes and stuff. I was like, okay, yes sir, I'll go do it, right? Baptize Mijo. We got married. El que no quería, el que estaba con que no, y no, y no. Like, one day we're sitting in line at the bank. This is the most unromantic proposal ever. We're sitting in line at the bank, and he's like, so when do you want to secretly get married? That's literally how he asked me. Because Manuel, he does not like to make a big deal about anything. He is Mr. Low-key. Like, it's a personality trait at this point. And so I was just like... Oh my God. Okay.
You're like, right? Yeah.
Yes. And so, like 2 weeks later, Dunsky. So I had graduated college and then I ended up getting a new car and got a new job.
There you go.
After being home with the kids for 3 or 4 years. So I'm not saying that, and I hope that she didn't do anything beyond my knowledge of a Limpia, to kind of make things fall into place and just make things happen. But just the way that we saw the rest of our year turn around, and honestly, the rest of the time from there, things have been so different and things are better and we're thriving. Praise the Lord.
Yes.
And I just can't help but to think how vital of a role something like that played, right? Like como que las envidias y la gente, la que no quiere que progreses, la gente que te quiere ver abajo, their energy, their bad vibes really can affect you in that way, in that sense. So, yeah. So, and I still have that little amuleto. I carry it with me in my little bag over there. And she always said that it has to be like touching you, but I either carry it in my bag or I'll put it like in my pocket if I'm wearing jeans or something like that. Because the worst thing that I want to happen is to lose it.
Right.
Because it really means a whole lot to me because I really felt like she was genuine.
It really, you really felt like it helped you. So you want it around you. So yeah.
And shortly after, me and that friend, that's whenever we ended up going our separate ways.
Well, maybe she did it to where, you know, la envidia can get the fuck on out of your life too, you know, because that's what I need.
My mom is such a believer in that. Like, she's like, mija, las envidias matan.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, las envidias te pueden...
Yeah, es una enfermedad tan venenosa, you know, y ojalá y se alivien pronto.
Vaya con Dios.
Los bendigo en el nombre de Dios.
So it was just really, really a good experience. And I have wanted to find her again. And I just know and believe in my heart that if it's meant to be for me to find her and for her to come back into my life, it will happen.
Right.
If it's not, then I just I leave it alone. I'm like, and I've asked God too, like if I'm needing that cleanse again, if I'm needing that good energy again, like bring her back into my life. If not, I also want to thank her.
Right.
You know, because
no, yeah, of course.
It's more of a thing. Like that. All those good things happened to me in a 3 to 4 month span in that year of 2017. It was crazy. I'll never forget it.
That's insane, but that's good, you know?
And I thank her from afar.
Yeah.
Like I hope that she knows.
Yeah.
But
I'm sure she does.
Yeah.
Because if she's a bruja,
I don't know if she was a bruja or not. But she me curó. Like, she gave me a good limpia. Si era bruja o no, pues allá. But I do believe, you know, what I mentioned earlier, that you can't Curanderas one thing, bruja is a different thing, but there's a very thin line. Mm-hmm. And if you're a bruja who cures from all of the bad and all that I just feel like that's a very
right
close thing to it, right? Like you can't cure all of the bad without having dabbled,
right,
or being in it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Changing up the pace a little bit. Have you ever had dreams where your teeth are falling out, or just random, like, so vivid dreams that you're just like, what the
all
fuck?
The
you
time.
wake up and you're like,
the teeth disintegrating is a big one.
I've had my teeth just fall out, and sometimes disintegrating too.
I'm just like sitting there and I'm like,
yeah,
and they just start like pieces
freaks
are coming
me
out.
The fuck out that I wake up and I instantly look in the fucking mirror.
Have you never Googled it?
Yeah, but
that's my toxic trait is Googling my weird ass dreams. Then scaring myself.
I have before, but then I'm like, I asked him, mi Dios, he's bigger than me.
I'm the same way, yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, why do I have those dreams? Like the other day, I had a dream that
it's horrible, dude.
I was like, I don't know where the fuck I was at. I don't know, but there were snakes, and that one of them was like dancing around, and it just took a fucking bite at me, and that I was like, oh my god, like, how the fuck am I gonna make it to the hospital on time? But this fucking thing bit me twice, and I was like, am I gonna die? Like in my dream, I was freaking out. And then I woke up and I'm like freaking scared and shit. Or when you're running, all of a sudden you fall.
And you're like falling and like... See, I've had a snake dream, but I've only had one, and I was a little kid, and I still remember it. My parents had this fence that wasn't even a fence. It was like a wall because it wasn't fucking fencing nothing. Mm-hmm. But it had like a door in the middle, and I remember I was small. I mean, 6, 5, maybe even... I don't even know if you can remember that early, but I was all happy playing outside, and then I was like running, and I went to go through this little door, but there was a king cobra snake with I don't know if it's a cobra that has the things out here.
I don't fucking know.
And it was coiled, but like obviously standing straight up, and it was just sitting there like pointing its little...
Like staring
tongue
at you?
Yeah.
That's creepy.
With its tongue. Mm-hmm. And I remember just thinking like, that's fucking scary. Mm-hmm. And then I just went running. Like it didn't make me freak out as a little kid.
Oh, so this really happened to you?
No.
In a dream. Okay.
I think it was a dream. I don't think it was real. Mm-hmm. It feels so real.
I had a lot of dreams of tornadoes when I was little.
Oh,
like
really?
Constant. Like it was sometimes every day. And then sometimes it was like tornadoes after tornadoes, and that for some reason these tornadoes had like eyes, and they would like not talk amongst themselves, but like communicate amongst themselves, and then become one whole big one, and they would be looking for me. Like it was crazy, and forever I've had this PTSD feeling towards tornadoes because I'm like, what did they mean? And I Googled it at one point, what dreams of tornadoes meant, and I think it was like it related to what I was going through, and it's like, damn, like it's crazy how dreams can tell what you're going through in your real life.
I think it's because it's your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of your subconscious, like on the movie Inception.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 34 years old and I still can't understand that whole movie. Like I get a lot of it, but it's a whole concept and it's a whole thing about your subconscious.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what happens. So it's your subconscious like sneaking into your conscious through a dream.
Mm-hmm.
So back to your point, where if it was something that you were going through, or there was a lot of craziness going on at the time, then maybe that's what it was meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was your body dealing with it, warning you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I've never had dreams like that with like tornadoes, but for me it was ants and like bugs crawling all over me.
Oh God, that gave me the chills.
And like I hated it, but it wasn't like I was like screaming, crying. I just was like, this is, no. And like trying to like get them off. And then I would get them off and then freaking 20 more would come climbing right here. So
did you ever Google what that meant?
I don't think I ever have until right now that I'm talking about it, because I haven't thought about it in so long. But the teeth disintegrating is freaking traumatic because your teeth, dude,
yes, oh my God, that freaks me the fuck out.
And just to like be chewing or be, sitting there or whatever, and like your teeth are just
crunching on your fucking
no,
teeth.
dude.
Oh my God.
No, I cannot. I'm a very vivid sleeper.
Yeah.
Where I'm like screaming in my sleep, talking in my sleep.
I've had instances where I talk in my sleep and I catch myself. Like one time I remember I was going like this, hasta arriba, and I was doing this with my hand, but I think it was a remote or something that I was saying it's arriba or like that. But I remember like I woke up and I was doing this and I was like, oh my God, like,
the fuck?
What if I say some shit that ain't supposed to be said out loud? That's scary.
Seriously? Or like whatever's happening in your dream and you vocalize that. Like
imagine. No.
Yeah, so I've had a lot throughout my time. My husband knows it. Like I just talk in my sleep. Most of it is illegible, but sometimes he'll make out a little bit of what I'm saying. It's fucking weird, right? Like I'm like, what have you been holding on to? Because I don't know. However, I have always been a vivid dreamer because I wake myself up talking in my dream. Like I'll wake up and I'm still having a full conversation, not even realizing that it was a dream. But it's not like I sit there for 5 minutes. It's a couple seconds. And then I'm like, oh shit, it was a dream. And there's been a lot of times where I wake up like screaming because whatever's happening in my dream, I'm like literally crying. And I hate that. I wish I wasn't like that because it probably happens 2 or 3 times a year. Y me siento como que una desesperación. But it's just like, it's a dream. Yeah. But then what is that also trying to tell you?
I know, that's scary. Or when you have deja vu, like,
dude, deja vu's weird as fuck.
Yes, I had deja vu not too long ago, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, this is deja vu. Like, I've seen this in my dream before. Like, why does that happen?
So that would have been a good thing to Google, and I didn't even think about it until now. But like, what I know of deja vu is that you've lived it before. That's why it looks so familiar to you. That's why in deja vu, it like when you're having a little episode, because I mean, mine never lasts more than like 5 seconds, maybe
a few seconds.
And before I even realize it, ya casi se acaba. But deja vu allegedly is that like you've lived it before, but that's also why it feels like it's an out of body experience. Like you're watching this all happen, but you're kind of just watching it, like you're not in it, but you're watching it.
Yes, it's crazy, you know. And it was weird because I was like, oh my God, like I already saw this all happen. So I just am so curious, like what it means. Or like those dreams, like you're like dreaming you're fighting and you're like doing this. And then, you know, you can't. And I'm just like, oh, que desesperación, you know?
I'm that same way, but like I'll jerk. Like, or if Emmanuel like reaches over and grabs my hand or whatever, like I jerk. Or like whenever he's gonna like kiss me in the mornings before he leaves, sometimes I'm in a dream, and whenever he does kiss me, like I freak out because I'm like, ah! And I wake up like not even knowing what the dream was, and that's another frustrating thing
when you can't remember.
Why can't we remember? It was so real, but why can't I remember?
I hate that.
God.
Too. Yeah, I hate those.
So the teeth disintegrating, when I've looked at it before, it basically just says that your life is falling apart. But it doesn't make sense because because it happens so often.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know I'm a little bit dramatic, but like my life doesn't fall apart every 5 minutes, you know?
I had my teeth falling out, not disintegrating, not too long ago, not like a month or 2 ago, maybe about 3 or 4 months ago. I had a dream that my teeth were falling out, and I woke up and I was like, right away,
God,
feeling out.
dude.
Because I mean, I have braces, but it was just like weird. But I mean, my life is, gracias a Dios, my life is so good.
Claim it, loud and proud.
It's gonna get even better. Like so much going on, but so that's why I hardly ever Google my dreams, because I'm like, half of that shit I don't believe, because I'm like, for example, the teeth, like my life is not falling apart. Like my life is barely like fucking.
Yes, you know? Exactly. Have you ever had a dream that your man's cheating?
Yeah. And then I fucking wake up pissed off at him.
Yeah. Like,
and then I look at him and I'm like, ugh.
But back to it. What if that's our subconscious warning you, or putting a little seed of like, hey,
I'll fight anybody.
Pon atención porque
I will fight anybody.
But that is so frustrating though. Yeah. Like, why do I get mad at him for it? Like, I know there's memes and videos and stuff of people trying to be funny about it, but I really get pissed off because I'm just like, how can my own brain betray me that way?
Or all uitada and shit, listening to sad songs. Like, my fucking man just cheating on me in my dream.
Dolida with Julián hasta arriba.
Hasta arriba. Like, and then fucking call him and be like, ¿por qué lo hiciste?
Como te di todo.
¿De qué hablas? Tú sabes muy bien de lo que estoy hablando. Mis sueños no me mienten.
Como dijo Javi, tú sabes claramente lo que hiciste.
Exactly.
So funny.
But yeah, I've had those dreams and it's like, okay. And I do get mad at him, and I'm just like, and then he'll be like, what's wrong? And then I'll be like, pues, and then I have to fucking blast my fucking dream and shit. That's embarrassing.
No, pues es que tuve un sueño que me pusiste los cuernos.
Yeah. Y no me da la pinche gana.
No pasa nada, al rato lo supero.
Dame hasta la tarde y ahí hablamos. Ponemos mensajes en todo el día, la verga, porque estoy enojada.
No me volteas ni a ver.
Y no te voy a echar lonche.
Comes puras rebanadas de aire.
Allá que te la dé la pinche vieja con la que estás.
Dude, for real.
Que te hagan un cheque a pinche vieja.
Aquí no vengas a pedir nada, que me pídeselo aquí.
I'm fucking.
That's hilarious, dude.
Activating my fucking asthma and shit by fucking laughing so hard you cannot hear my
wheezing. I heard the wheezing.
Yeah. So anyways, if you enjoyed this podcast and you have experiences with curanderas or brujeria, like, let us know in the comments. We want to know your stories.
Share it with us, because we can't be the only ones that have been personally victimized by brujas or somebody trying to get over.
Yeah, and if your fucking viejos cheat on you in your dreams, don't make them lunch the next day. Fuck that.
Que
Fuck
sufra, hazlo sufrir.
Yeah.
Make him appreciate what he has.
Yeah. Y que sufra por haberte hecho sufrir en tu dream.
We will see you next week for episode 6. Bye.
Bye.